the Dread King Logan, and you're watching the Flavor General Josh, the Mouthpiece Danny, and my personal homeboy Cody on Rasslin Rage, R2YouTube.com. And if you're not watching, then you're a peasant, and I can destroy you.
Oh!
This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Let's go down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hello, welcome to Rasslin Rage. Welcome to the 146th episode of Rasslin Rage, to be exact. The show usually brings you results for the weekend shows in Michigan indie wrestling, but with everything being locked down for at least another 2 weeks, and who are we joking? Who are we kidding? It'll be longer than that because we know it will be. We decided to do something a little bit different again this week. We are in talks with the owner of Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit, and together with the Human Amplifier, Steve Rivera, came up with the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Year in Review.
Hey, but first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, BCWA and Happy Harper, as always. You can find Happy Harper on Facebook at Happy Harper Ice Cream. If you live local, hey man, he'll bring it to you. We'd also like to thank BCWA. You can find them online or on Facebook at gobcwa.com or gobcwa.
And also, I would like to thank my sponsor, Mr. Jeremiah Goldman, and his amazing brand, the 24 Karat Line Productions. And we will be back with the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Year in Review right after this.
It's time to talk about Michigan independent wrestling. Tune into the channel, check your internet connection. Cody, Danny, Josh, they're the best at breaking down the matches into each and every segment. Michigan independent wrestling. Tune into the channel, check your internet connection. Cody, Danny, Josh, they're the best at breaking down the matches into each and every segment.
And we are back. Hello and welcome to the show. We're waiting for his audio to connect, but that's usually how it goes with Zoom. We're always waiting for audio. But Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit has been going for 14 years now, and that is a long time to be running. So, come on, audio. You can do it. Sometimes it takes a minute. I don't understand why, but maybe. Hey, Steve, click your phone and see if you got to click the mic thing there down at the bottom. Maybe he can't hear us. Audio's not working. So, we have some shows to go over tonight with this young gentleman here. Hopefully his audio. I know. Hopefully his audio gets up there and working. For some reason it's not working. We can see you. I'll send him a message.
Yeah, I don't know if he can hear us right now.
I don't think he can because it's there. Okay, there goes his video. So he's messing with it now. That's good. Got that. There, well, you're good there.
There we go.
Hey! Oh, no, we can't hear you now. Hold on. Click it again.
He's muted.
It almost, there, yep. Ask to unmute. See if that'll work. There you go. There we go. What's up, brother?
Hey.
There we go. All right. So we were saying thank you. Welcome on the show. First time for everything. You're coming
It's a
on.
privilege to be here.
Well, thank you.
Rasslin Rage.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Tonight you're coming on for the first time ever, really, to do a Pro Wrestling All-Stars year in review, going through 2020, pre-COVID, post-COVID, and to talk a little bit about some titles as well as the reset. So, the first event that took place in 2020 for Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit was Decade of Champions that went down on January 10th, 2020 at the Play Atlantis in Melvindale, and Dan's going to read off those results real quick, and we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it up.
All right. Match number 1, we had Heidi Katrina won the over-the-top Battle Royal. In match number 2, we saw the Horror Slam Tag Team Champions of the Detroit Punks, Mitch Hewitt and Sean Lawhorn, defeated Peter B. Beautiful and the Dread King by DQ. Match 3 was the MPW Heritage Champion, Jason Page, and the PWAS Junior Heavyweight Champion, MM3, went to a time limit draw. Match 4 that night was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions, Party Animal Planet, defeating the Threat of Briar Wellington in a 2 out of 3 falls match to retain the titles. Then match 5, we saw Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Core Champion El Ridiculoso defeated Atlas Hightower in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Match number 6 was Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Champion Kevin Calloway defeating Chuck Stein to retain the title.
Nice.
That was our kickoff, our debut show of the year. Had a woman won a battle royal, Heidi Katrina, AIWF Women's Champion. That match, the match of the night had to be MM3 and Jason Page. That was a good 20-man MPW Heritage Champion. Then PWAS Junior Heavyweight Champion. That was a really good match. And the little double, instead of shaking hands, they flipped each other off at the end. That was kind of that was clever. And then that night, I mean, Logan was the mystery partner for Peter B in that tag team match. And that night, Chuck was really over with the crowd. Like they wanted him to win, but Kevin Calloway, he shut him down, and interference by Peter B. And Sean Tyler, Kevin Calloway walked out of that one, the champion. And it was a good way to kick off the year 2020.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Fantastic way to kick it off. That was a great show. The next event that we had in 2020 for Pro Wrestling All-Stars took place on Friday, January 31st. And Cody has those results.
So we had the early bird pre-show battle royal with the winners, a tie between the Lost Soul, Tj Meyer, one of the favorites here on Rasslin Rage, and Dickie Watts. The Wrestle Gauntlet match. We had number 1 in was Zach Main, who defeated we had the number 2, Tanner Nix. Number 3, Dorian Dynamite. Number 4, Gregory Iron, defeating Zach Main. Number 5, Soul Taker by DQ, when Soul Taker refused to break the chokehold. And we had number 6, Peter B. Beautiful, defeating Gregory Iron. Number 7, Chuck Stein, defeating Peter B. 8, Joseph Schwartz. 9, Sean Tyler, defeating Chuck Stein. 10, Palmer Cruz, defeating Sean Tyler. Number 11, El Canuco. And number 12, Jay Maynard, to win the 12-man gauntlet. That's a long list of guys to go through. All right, so then we have a 4-versus-4 elimination match with the threat of Zach Main, Atlas Hightower, Briar Wellington, and Nate Matson with Truth Martini, the defeating team of Party Animal Planet, Mysterious Movado, El Ridiculoso, and Detroit Punk of Sean Lawhorn and Mitch Hewitt with the Guru and Heidi Katrina. Talk about a group there. Winners, yeah, that's a different one. Winners and Soul Survivors, Nate Matson and Briar Wellington.
Original threat members walked out that night.
Right.
Possibly the last stand of the original threat. We don't know. We don't know what's happened.
Oh, boy.
It was a good show. You can continue.
But, you know, I mean, having Heidi out there, You can always pull the Miss Elizabeth with that. Have her walk around distracting people.
She had a broken foot that night. So her foot was in a cast and she was there to compete to wrestle, but she broke her foot the week before. So it was kind of like, okay, since you're here, you'll be in their corner. And it was good camaraderie. Right. Good guys, the bad guys. It was, I was a really good match. I like those 4-on-4 matches.
Yes.
Right.
It's very entertaining.
Now, there was a triple threat match for the Junior Heavyweight Championship as well between MM3, Dickie Watts, and Tj Meyer, with MM3 winning by pin over Dickie. And there was a gauntlet match winner, Palmer Cruz, defeats Kevin Calloway to become a new Pro Wrestling All Stars Heavyweight Champion.
That show, Wrestle Bowl, is one of my favorite shows every year. Every time, this time of year, January, coming up to the Super Bowl, I know Pro Wrestling All Stars. We try to do something. We try to do something different and entertaining every show. Right. And Wrestle Bowl, it's like the 12 is the number of the fan, and our fans are what drive us. That's why it's a 12-round gauntlet match. And then it's kind of like the short road to WrestleMania. You win the gauntlet, you get the title match, but it's later in the night. So it's you never know what could happen at Wrestle Bowl. And right. That was it was good. It was a surprise. It goes to show you that surprises could happen at any time, at any event. You never know what's going to happen when Pro Wrestling All Stars, we come to set up and do shows.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. On February 28th of last year was the month for Hot Friday.
Hot Friday.
Martini as the guest host.
Yes, host. Truth Martini.
Oh, yeah. Now, for the pre-show, we had John Brewski defeat Mikey Manna, which, I mean, I don't understand how you can always have such amazing matches as a pre-show, but the whole show was hosted by Truth Martini, who said it was a Bizarro-themed match. Number one was a reverse battle royal. The first wrestler out of the ring wins the battle royal, with the winner being Paul Bowser.
I love it.
Then we had a Pro Wrestling All-Stars beauty pageant, Heidi Katrina versus Peter B. Beautiful, with the winner being Peter B. Beautiful.
Oh, man.
Of course. Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Championship, Falls Count Somewhere, Party Animal Planet of the Maltese Tiger and the Mysterious Movado defeats Chuck Stein and Joseph Swartz in order to retain their championships. El Ridiculoso also retained his Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps Championship in an 11-man elimination match. We had the intermission, then an episode of Martini's Court, where people versus Pro Wrestling All-Stars, ending in the Human Amplifier Steven Rivera giving a rock bottom and a people's elbow to Alexander Van Zandt.
For the people, yep.
Yes. Then we had a no disqualification triple threat match for the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Championship. Palmer Cruz defeated Paul Bowser and Kevin Calloway when Cruz pinned Bowser.
Mm-hmm. That was a good night. All the proceeds from that show, it went to the House of Truth. That was kind of like a booster show to help him out with his school and get, bring some much needed funds to him at that time. And that was good because Martini was the booker that night. Now all I had to do is just, hey, you write the show out. This is your show. So it's pretty compelling. He did that kind of like he did his Hoopla show a few years ago. He did a Hoopla wrestling show, I think about 5 years ago. And it was kind of like reminiscent of that. And, it was good. It's always good to do shows. And it's good to sometimes let somebody else put the show together, and I just have to sit back and let them entertain me for a change.
Yeah, you get to be a fan for the night.
Yes. I mean, I take care of the other fundamentals of running the show. And Martin, it was a good show. That beauty pageant. Oh my God, Peter B. was. Heidi was mad. She was mad at him that night. Alex Van Zandt, the debut, he's a very talkative, yuppie type of wrestler. Very heel oriented. It kind of reminds me of Santino Marella, Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
He's got that persona with him. He's just the talker, and he can very much well entertain.
Right.
And then it was Palmer Cruz's first and only title defense that night. Paul Bowser, he won the Bazzaro, first one out, Battle Royal, got him a title shot. Kevin Calloway wanted his title shot rematch, so that happened that night. And then that turned out to be our last show before the COVID. That was like COVID. You know, I didn't have no other shows in the coming up weeks afterwards. And then, you know, that the whole COVID kind of like, it just changed everything. It really changed everything.
Yes.
One thing about that show, I had like, you know, as I'm the promoter, you got to make sure everything in the show is like in line. You know, you don't want to see the same thing twice on the show. You don't want to see, you know, you want to keep it entertaining and compelling for the fans. And I feel like from a distance, I'm like putting the shows together, giving you guys the right matches, the matches you want to see and keep you guys entertained. And that whole COVID thing, just that night, every show is like ends with a period. Like, okay, that was it. That was great. That show, I remember seeing Palmer Cruz retain the title, Truth Martini, Hot Friday. They did the curtain call, bow down. Yeah, they left. And as the fans were leaving, Paul Bowser went in the ring and he mooned the crowd. He showed his butt cheeks to the crowd. And as like the promoter, you always dwell on your last act. But I'll tell you, that whole time during COVID, those 4 months off, we had 5 months off, we didn't have no shows. I had to dwell on Paul Bowser's ass cheeks as the final act.
Last thing anyone's going to remember in a pro wrestling all-star ring.
His butt cheeks. Paul Bowser is one outrageous character, I'll tell you, man. But then COVID changed the game. You know, a lot of people's lives changed and you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, you know, at the time I did the ring announcing for Horror Slam and they were getting ready to do Fight TV, have their biggest pay-per-view on March 20th and everything shut down on the 16th. It was like, days before. And it was kind of like depressing and, you know, being like mandated, stay in your house, this disease. And it kind of changed my personal prerogative. Like, okay, this COVID's not going to kill me. It's going to make me stronger. When wrestling comes back, I'm going to wrestle again. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to make this year. I'm going to make, you know, to make the better end of COVID. I'm going to come out of COVID putting on shows for our great fans and you guys too. My hat's off. Rasslin Rage, you guys putting it on every weekend. You know, every week. Well, your guys' show help put asses in our seats, and I commend all three of you guys for your hard work.
Well, thank you.
sir.
I appreciate that.
You know, to me, you know, and me and the guys have talked about it, and actually me and you have talked about it at Pro Wrestling All-Stars. You know, COVID did a couple of different things. It made us all really reinvent what we are and what we do, even in our personal lives. And it made us appreciate what we didn't know we loved so much. I mean, we're all, you know, hey, everybody's a fan of wrestling. Otherwise, none of us would be doing this. But we really learn to appreciate it, what it brings to us and what we can do for everybody else.
Yes, indeed. So, but yeah, I mean, COVID happened. It changed the game, and I was determined. Once our venues start opening up, it started really like how we started getting shows during COVID. I got to hand it to one of my best friends, partners in crime, Briar Wellington, and his little sidekick, Little Rach. They were the ones that said, forget this. Let's just run in the backyard. Who cares? Okay. And then they started it like that weekly thing with the Horror Slam. And then I was just waiting for the venues to open to debut Pro Wrestling All-Stars. And I was just like over time, because, you know, I don't want, hey, everybody else go to my buddy's backyard. You know, it depends on what you're doing and the image you're setting. And
Right.
And Pro Wrestling All-Stars, I was just waiting for Play Atlantis to open. That was our home base. And I was just like, basically just, okay, when they open up, I'll have a spot. I know with your guys' help, I could put the show out within like 7 days, 10 days notice. And all our great wrestling fans will know and will know about the show and they'll come. So I still, you guys, your podcast play, you and Pro Wrestling Edge, those guys also play a big key into drawing fans to the indie wrestling shows.
Absolutely. Well, when we returned, you were returned to Play Atlantis on July 24th.
7/24.
Yeah.
7/24. That's how I am a madman.
Right.
7/24. So that was the perfect date.
Right.
reset the system. And the reason for the reset is because you didn't know where people's lives were. You know, there's some of the wrestlers that were champions going into COVID. We had Palmer Cruz as the Pro Wrestling All-Stars heavyweight champion. We had Movado and Maltese Tiger as the tag team champions. El Ridiculoso as the Cruiser Core champion. MM3 as the junior heavyweight champion. And you really didn't know where everybody was at. You don't know. Some wrestlers haven't even wrestled since COVID. You know, I mean, and some wrestlers haven't wrestled for Pro Wrestling All-Stars since COVID. So you didn't know where everybody was at. And I grew up in a time like Bret Hart. He was the fightingest champion ever. And he made it known on Superstars of Wrestling every week that he was out there to be the best there is, the best there was, best there ever will be. And he'll be the most fightingest champion of all time. And that's how I felt the spirit of competition is. I wanted to make sure we had everybody focused on, you know, the champion. I couldn't have it like a big gap, like I'll come back and you don't know if they're there, question mark. I thought that was a best time if ever, if you're going to start a clean slate and crown all new champions and just reset everything. I thought that was the definitive time to do so. And we did so. And you guys there and that show reset the system on 7/24. I'll tell you what, the top of the show changed like 2 hours before. Like some of the wrestlers, they said they're not coming. Oh my God. So like the ring is set up at the venue. I'm going to pick up the posters. I'm at Knights of Columbus trying to set up the show, trying to set up future shows like hours before reset the system, trying to get, you know, and then they called and they said they're not making it. So I'm like scrambling, like, oh my God, I got to reset the whole show, rewrite the show. But we put on a very compelling show. That was our 70th show ever at the Play Atlantis. And we did 6 this summer. So we're at 75 now. We did 75 shows in our history at Play Atlantis. Wow. And that main event, Reset the System, was the first time ever 2 PWAS originals that were on the very first show at Play Atlantis met each other. They never wrestled each other. And that was the Dirty White Boy Chuck Stein and the Kickstarter Atlas Hightower. They've never wrestled each other in the history of Pro Wrestling All-Stars. They wrestled each other once at Metro Pro a couple years ago. And I thought, well, that's the top of your card. Those are your vets. Those are your originals. And that was, you know, reset the system. Let's put our marquee originals on top of the pecking order. And that's how the show kind of like got changed up hours before.
Right. That's cool. I never realized that before, that those two had really faced off before. That's cool.
Milestone 70th show there, reset the system. You want to run down the lineup?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Match 1 was the Soul Taker defeating Alex Van Zandt. That was a great match.
Yeah, that was the promo that opened it up. I explained.
Yes, old AVZ, man. He tried every trick in the book. Match number 2, we saw the Grey Wolves defeat Chinstrap Jesus and Sean Lawhorn with Mr. Jeremiah Goldman. Match 3 was Peter B. Beautiful and Percy Drews defeating, I know him as FIA.
FIA, yes.
FIA
and Shaggy.
Yes, and Shaggy, yep.
Shaggy. He walked out on Shaggy. I seen that.
Yeah.
That was the first round of the tag tournament. Those 2 matches. Okay.
Next up was Tanner Nix defeating the demon known as Moloch. Josh likes to say Moloch.
Moloch. And Movado. It was a triple threat match.
Yes, and Movado, that's right.
A triple threat match, yeah.
Yes, Tanner Nix. That's the night Tanner Nix won the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps.
Yeah, young talent, fresh talent, rookies. Anything could happen. He got the biggest pop of the night, I think. Everyone was going crazy. No one expected Tanner to win, and everybody, all you guys in the front row, Rasslin Rage guy, everybody was going crazy for Tanner Nix. That was a good night for him. I was happy for that. I was happy for him that night.
In match 5, we had the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Championship Fatal 4-Way Elimination, which was Jay Maynard, Daniel Wolf, Schwartzy, and Tj Meyer. And TJ came out on top of that one.
Jay Maynard.
Oh, Jay Maynard.
That's right. It was Jay Maynard that night.
Yeah.
Jay Maynard did. That started their feud. Tj Meyer.
That's right.
He he had another show that day and he didn't hit me up till like hours before. And I was like, okay, come on, we'll figure it out. And the whole show, like, everything changed the day. You think you got something set in stone, and then boom, day of the show, everything changes. That's been known to happen. But
it don't happen until it happens, man. Match number 6 was Peter B and Percy defeating the Grey Wolves to win the PWAS Tag Team Championships. I think we were shocked. I know I was. I was shocked. I was glad for Percy, but I was shocked. And then in the main event.
The main event was Hightower. I was in my man Atlas Hightower's corner against Chuck Stein and the Guru. That was good. That was good. That was I had to represent with the threat, my man Atlas Hightower, and he came up short that night. And Chuck Stein became a 3-time Pro Wrestling All-Stars heavyweight champion, despite the fact that his first title reign at the PWAS championship was only 24 hours, less than 24 hours, and his second reign was maybe 2.5 minutes. So he became a 3-time champion.
It's better than no time.
There you go.
You never know.
It's 3 more than I got.
That's right.
Now, Dread King Logan's in the chat, and he's saying that you know every card that you've ever booked, and the fact that you're sitting here and you're like, okay, yes, that was Hightower, and like you do know every card you've ever booked, man.
That's
pretty
awesome.
much for some of them that I dwell and actually make the matches. Some of the fundraisers I just kind of like figure it out and like show up hours before. Who wants to wrestle? Who wants, I want to give these guys a platform, and if they have an idea of what they want to do on that platform, it's better for them and me, because then I know what direction of where to put them on, and as opposed to like, okay, you're wrestling this guy and just the stinkers. I let the artists. I try to let them be themselves and kind of like help form their art. So I feel like
the next show was on Friday, August 14th. That was outside at the Play Atlantis, and it was the Summer of Champions.
Dun 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 dun.
I think that was our biggest Play Atlantis show of the year. I mean, we had some big shows, but I think that had our biggest attendance. That was a good show. That was packed. That was a good night. That show was hosted by my main man, Izzy High. Artist formerly known as American Kickboxer. Yes, he hosted the show that night. We did an early bird pre-show match. You want to run down the card?
Yeah. So the first early bird match was Rod Lee, who faced off against Kenny Urban, and he defeated Mr. Urban with a Joseph Schwartz and Sean Lonehorn helped pin Urban there.
Yeah, I think that was a fatal 4-way. That was a 4-way. And Rod Lee came up. He caught the pin. It was a 1-pin fall. He got the pin on Kenny Urban.
There we go. Daryl Jackson. There we go. Defeats old school Rick Gardier.
Darnell Jackman, we like to call him.
Oh, there you go. He gets him.
Jackson, the prodigy. He can't win. He can't win. And that night, that pre-show match was for a contract, and he won the match, but it wasn't a pinfall, so he didn't get the contract. So
that was a DQ, man. Rick Gardier using that chain.
He was there. That was his debut at PWAS, and he was there to make a statement.
Right.
So, for sure.
As you stated, Izzy High was the host of this.
I hosted the pre-show. I did the pre-show.
All right. So then the main show was Izzy High. And in the first match, we had Mysterious Movado against Alex Van Sant, with Movado coming on top with the W. We have the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Jay Maynard defending against Tj Meyer with him retaining the title. Again, we had the beginning of the feud started at the last show, and then here we have it where they go at it again.
That was a great feud. I mean, really.
Yeah. Now we have an interpromotional match with the Horror Slam Tag Team titles. The Grey Wolves defeating Mikey Baker and Isaiah Frazier to retain. Then we have Pro Wrestling All-Star Cruiser Corps champion Tanner Nix defeating Atlas Hightower with the crucifix to pin and to retain.
He blames that on me. That was not my fault. But we'll talk. I almost wanted to kick my butt after that match, man. He couldn't win the world title, couldn't win the heavyweight title of the show before, couldn't win the cruiser core. He's mad at me. I'm like, hey, man.
Atlas had a rough summer, man.
Mm-hmm.
In the fifth match of the night, the Capital Vices of Money and Sin defeat the Pro Wrestling
from Baltimore.
Yeah,
my boys from Baltimore. Yes.
Defeat the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions Hot and Beautiful by DQ when decision was overturned.
Can't win the title that way.
Damn it. That sucks. And then in the main event, we have a tables, doors, and more match, which I've never seen before till this night. Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Championship match as the almighty Dread King Logan defeats Chuck Stein to become the new Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Champion of the world.
There's half of the door.
That was it. That was the night that Logan came focused, and the almighty Dread King won the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Championship, and that was the night his reign started. He had 6 matches as champion, and each one is just great. Logan's my favorite wrestler of the year, honestly. You guys, you want to talk about your fan poll? Logan, hands down, wrestler of the year. That COVID didn't stop him. He got in better shape. That was the night he came back to PWAS, and he made a statement. That match, the tables, doors, and more, that was possibly a match, the Pro Wrestling All-Stars match of the year. But it's hard because Logan had so many good matches. He had, also Summer of Champions. That was a good night. I liked it. And, the new era Logan began, and he won the title, and that was the highlight. That was the highlight of the night. That match with Chuck was unprecedented. Jumping off the ring trailer, going through doors. Rick Cardet, he's the one that he came out and hit Chuck with the chain, and that caused the belly-to-belly suplex off the top rope through a table, and that's what was the finisher in the main event.
I think we seeing that. Yeah, we missed that part. I didn't see that.
Missed that part.
Yeah, I wasn't looking then. I wasn't looking. He's my homeboy, man. I don't see none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see nothing. But whatever. On
to the next one. Cheap Heat. August 21st, outdoors to the Knights of Columbus in beautiful Southwest Detroit, Michigan. Go on down. Let's get these results.
In the first match, we had Sean Longhorn defeats Jarris Gray. Match number 2 of the night was West Inc. of Joseph Schwartz and Nick Moss with Randy West defeats Gio Bronco and Dante Cass. Match 3, the Party Monsters of Mysterious Movado and El Ridiculoso defeats Daddy's Money of Mikey Manna and Clucky. Match 4, you had Daryl Jackson defeat Jeffrey John. Match 5, you had the Soul Taker won an over-the-top battle royal. Of course he does, but intermission match. Then we had match 6, old school Rick Cartier versus Chuck Stein went into a no contest. Match number 7, El Toro and Timmy Cruz defeat the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Championship, Hot and Beautiful, of Peter B. and Percy Drews, but it was by disqualification, so Hot and Beautiful hold on to their championships again. Match number 8, we had the Cruiser Core champion of Tanner Nix defeating Chin Strap Jesus Kyle Burnett with Jeremiah
Barrett. Why do you always say Barnett?
Why do you say Detroit? It's Detroit.
Jim Barnett, wrestling. That's what he's thinking. But that Knights of Columbus, I like doing those shows, man. They're fundraisers for them to help their bar. Their bar was closed down, and those capacity shows. You're like 100 feet from Michigan Avenue, the Strip in Detroit, so it gets like an overwhelming crowd response. So many people just walk up like flash mob. Yeah. It was like a flash mob, just boom. You got 50, then all of a sudden there's 300-400, and then whoa, the show's over. And it's like, wow, that was impressive. But that was our first show back at Knights of Columbus, and that was our first show we did outdoors there. And It was a good night. It was a good night. Chinstrap Jesus, Tanner Necks solidified themselves in the main event, and that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Now that was one of your many $5 a ticket match. You did a lot of $5 shows.
I did. That's because of my supporting cast, and I was determined to give them work. I was determined. A lot of other promoters just like sat at home and didn't do nothing. I was like gun ho because I've been in this business since 1995, training Denny Cass, and I was determined. Like, hey, I'm going to make shows this year. This is what I do. These are my people. And, you know, you guys helped push that too. And I thought we did pretty good. I thought a lot of sports were shut down, but indie wrestling in Detroit, Michigan, we were on fire.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for that. Because, you know, once I'm finally going back to work, I'm trying to catch up on bills and everything. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know if I can afford to go to some of these shows. You know, it's $20 in gas to go down and come. Oh, $5 a ticket. We'll get in the car. Let's go.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, the next show that took place was All-Starcade 2020.
Yes.
Every match had a special stipulation. That's right. Now, that took place on Friday, September 4th in 2020. Again, outdoors at the Playa Atlantis. Danny.
That was a busy weekend for me, but yeah, it was, I did 3 shows that weekend. I did 3 shows that week. I was like, as far as the ring was, but I remember the Friday night was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars All-Starcade. It was our last show that we actually charged regular ticket admission price before we went in our $5 every show after Labor Day. And All-Starcade, every match was a stipulation. There was some good matches. You want to run them down?
Yep.
Hit
Here we
it,
go.
Danny.
Match number 1 was the Soul Taker defeating AVZ in the body bag match. And he tried to come up with even more tricks. I do believe this is the one where he came out. He had some garlic. He had a cross. He had him a Ghostbuster outfit. He was trying everything he could, and ended up in the body bag. The match number 2 was a number 1 contenders triple threat tag team with the Grey Wolves defeating Daddy's Money and Over the Top. Now, if I'm trying to remember, is this the one where Harris got famous for wearing his glasses through the whole match?
The whole show.
I remember. I remember that they were the tag team champions. The Grey Wolves were, or no, were they or not yet? No,
not yet.
Not yet. This is the show before them.
But yeah, he wrestled the whole match with his glasses on. He never took his sunglasses off.
That's because he's cool like that. He's one cool cat. So
you got it. Match number 3 was a 2-on-1. Tanner Nix defeating Atlas Hightower and our man here, Mr. Rivera.
Yeah.
To retain his title. And after the match, man, you want to tell him what happened, Amplifier? I mean,
well, this was supposed to be a 2-on-1 match. The show before, Atlas Hightower couldn't get it done. So I said, well, being the president of Pro Wrestling All-Stars and original member of the most elite dynasty in all of professional wrestling, The Threat, I said, why don't we just make the odds in our favor? So we made this a 2-on-1 match. And obviously, Hightower kind of like, I don't know, he kind of cost me the victory. And then at the end of the match, I was trying to simply tell him, hey, buddy, you know what you just did? And he gave me not 1, but 2 of his infamous bro cutters. So.
Yeah, some people just are not appreciative, man. Match number 4 was old school. Rick Cartier defeating Chuck Stein in the dog collar match. Really, I don't know how many people thought that Rick was going to get it done against Chuck. I mean, you go in against Chuck Stein in any kind of match where there's a weapon involved or anything that can be used as a weapon, you better pack a lunch. Well, yeah. Rick Cartier, he packed his lunch and his dinner and got the job done.
Yeah, Chuck Stein's one of the most popular deathmatch wrestlers right now in the country. And lucky, I mean, he lives in the Downriver community, of course. And that night, Rick Cardell is proved to be that he could hang with some of the best, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I think he cemented himself with a lot of fans that night, where people weren't gonna look over him or look past him again. Match 5 was the Capital Vices defeating the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions, Hot and Beautiful, in a 2 out of 3 falls. However, the tag team titles did not change hands because
they did not.
third fall was a count out. It can't happen that way.
I know. Remember, I had to go down there and remind the Capital Vices that they did not win the tag titles and that the titles do not change hands on a count out. And they did win the match, of course. And I raised their hands in victory, but I had to get the belts back to Peter B and Percy. And I raised their hands in victory. And they hit me with their move, laid me on my back. And then Jason, he literally spanked my rear end.
Yeah, we were worried for your safety that night. I mean,
well, yeah.
I don't know. Tj
That's not
Meyer.
the first time Jason Allen got me in 2020. I'll tell you more about it later when we get to Halloween Hijinks. But yeah, that was good. And then main all-star Cade, I believe that was Movado and Dread King Logan.
Yeah, false count anywhere.
Well, that night we had DJ winning the title in the ladder match.
The ladder match, yes, that was the end of
where
the
feud. The show before, he told us, he's like, the next match I'm gonna win. I'm taking the title. He told Jay Maynard, he told all of us in the crowd that if he got one more match, he was gonna do it. And Jay didn't take him serious, I don't think, because he kind of laughed it off, said, "Okay, kid." And TJ came up with the win, walked away with the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion. And then, as you said, we had the Dread King Logan defeating the mysterious Movado in a Falls Count Anywhere match to retain the heavyweight championship. And that match was on fire.
That match was on fire, man. That was another one of Logan's great matches. And Movado, weeks before, he was at the House of Truth training with Motor City Machine Guns, learning all these new lucha style moves. And he brought him to the table that night, and they had a great match, a true spectacle main event.
Yes.
And and then also that ladder match. TJ, that was the start of his era as the junior heavyweight champion.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was actually we'll have that show on DVD at our next show. That's
nice.
We have that ready on DVD for sale, and that was it. Let's go on. Star Stripes and Slam, September 11th, Detroit, Michigan, Knights of Columbus.
So in the pre-show, we had Ryan Freeman defeating.
I hosted the pre-show. I was the host of the early bird pre-show.
There you go. Defeat Alex Van Sant. Then we had a second pre-show match with Shaw Lawhorn defeating Daniel Wolf. And then a third, not 2, but 3 pre-show matches with Chinstrap Jesus, Kyle Barrett versus Atlas Hightower went to a no contest, which brought us to a main event. Okay, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, I turned heel on the pre-show, and I attacked Hightower because I was still butthurt what he did to me 7 days before. And then that punk Tanner Nix, he didn't like Chinstrap from the show before. He don't like me and Hightower, so it turned into a tag team main event match, Knights of Columbus, on September 11th.
There we go.
I have to say too, we got to remember that we had 3, like Cody said, 3 pre-show matches, and this was a $5 show too.
Yes.
$5 make you holla. Yeah. So in the first matchup of the night, we have outside of the pre-show, we have Old School Rick Cartier defeating Gio Bronco. We have Jeffrey John defeating Daryl Jackson in the second match. In the third one, we have Matt Hagen returning to defeat the great Akuma. Akuma.
They had an online sputter about they were talking some crap online, and they came to me. Yeah, talking about Matt Hagen's girl, and
dude,
was trying to kiss her or something like that. And they were like, "Oh, bad," or I don't know, man. And I was like, "You guys want to settle at the ring? If you don't know, FIO, let's book the match."
In the fourth matchup, we have Mysterious Movado taking on Nick Moss, and he defeated Nick Moss. Good stuff there. LJ defeats the Soul Taker by DQ with a little interference from a guy named AVZ. He put Soul Taker in a body bag.
And I never died.
Casket match. They set up their casket match.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then in the sixth match, we have El Toro and Timo Cruz defeating Daddy's Money with Jeremiah Goldmain when Timo Cruz pinned Clucky with a frog splash. In the seventh match of the night, we have the Pro Wrestling All-Stars junior heavyweight champion Tj Meyer defeating Darian Ultra. When on the eighth match, we have the Grey Wolves of Jimmy and Jarris Gray defeating Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions Hot and Beautiful Percy Drews and Peter B. Beautiful by DQ.
Okay.
My lord, by DQ.
Yeah, that set up their match the next week at Fan Appreciation Night.
Yes.
Yes, that they set that up the next week.
So then we have the next match, the main event, which we talked about was started in the pre-show. Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Core Champion Tanner Nix and Atlas Hightower defeat Steve Rivera and Chinstrap Jesus with Jeremiah Goldmain when Tanner Nix pinned Rivera with a flying elbow. Damn it, Jim.
It was a great night. Like I said, those nights at Columbus shows in Detroit are absolutely like fabulous, man. We draw a nice crowd. We're like 100 feet off Michigan Avenue, one of the busiest sectors of Detroit. And we help them make some much needed fundraising equity for the Knights of Columbus. And it was a good show. It was another good show. This was the start of our $5 run, man. We were just trying to pump them out for you, the fans.
And and there wasn't a lack of quality either. It was $5 amazing shows.
That's our supporting cast that I got, and it's I'm very fortunate to work with a bunch of great, talented wrestlers to help want to do something. You know, this COVID changed everything, and I wasn't going to let it slow me down. You know,
right.
On to the next one. Fans Appreciation Night, Part 1.
Hana.
Part 1. That one was September 18th at the Play Atlantis.
Yep.
We had a pre-show of LJ Lawrence defeating Gio Bronco. A pre-show number 2 of Sean Lawhorn defeats Rick Cartier by countout. In the main show, we had our junior heavyweight champion Tj Meyer versus Mitch Hewitt went to a draw when Kenny Urban interfered, setting up a triple threat match for Fan Appreciation Night Part 2. We had an inter-promotional triple threat match for Horseland Tag Team Championship as the Bitcoin Boys of Eric and Taylor and Mikey Montgomery defeats Daddy's Money of Mikey Mata and Clucky with Jeremiah Goldmain, and the Horseland Tag Team Champions bulking season of Arthur MacArthur and Chuck Stone to become the new Horseland Tag Team Champions. Match number 3, we had Chinstrap Jesus with Jeremiah Goldmain defeats Atlas Hightower with special referee Steven Rivera. Mm-hmm. Hightower challenged Rivera to the next match, and yeah.
I got him. We'll talk about that, and then keep going.
We had the Grey Wolves of Jimmy and Jarris defeat Hot and Beautiful of Percy Drews and Peter B. Beautiful in a no DQ match to finally become the new Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions. Whew! Can't get DQ from a DQ match. It's the only way to take the belts. We had the Soul Taker defeat Alex Van Zant in a casket match. And in the main event, we had the Pro Wrestling All-Stars heavyweight champion, the Dread King Logan, won by disqualification when challenger Zach Thomas was disqualified for using a chair, setting up a rematch at the next week's show on Friday, September 25th from the Play Atlantis.
That match was insane.
Brutal.
That match was good. That match was good. What I remember about that show, I remember the tag titles. That was an upset. No one expected the Grey Wolves to upset Death Match, International Death Match Wrestling Superstar, Peter B. Beautiful, and the well-traveled Percy Drews. that was it. That was the night I refereed a match. And Hightower called me out because I screwed him. And that Dread King match, that was an open challenge. We didn't know who was going to face the Dread King. And Zach Thomas, which I think he's a star in the making, man. That guy's a star.
Absolutely.
And all those guys from Cleveland, the Bitcoin boys and bulking season. Sorry about your Browns, Cleveland Browns, fellas. But that's their talent. The Bitcoin boys, I expect a big year from them in 2021. And Zach Thomas, he's a star in the making. He's the brother of Gregory Iron, but not too many people talk about. But Zach Thomas I believe he's going to be a star. So also Arthur MacArthur and Chuck Stone, they're good too. But Zach Thomas is definitely, he's going to be a star. Well, I've just marked my words.
Oh, he hits like a ton of bricks, man.
Yes, he's a
My
power.
goodness.
Zach Thomas is a star. Let's go on to part 2.
So we have part 2, September 25th, again at the Play Atlantis. Danny.
All right, the pre-show saw Sean Lawhorn defeat Chuck Stone. Pre-show number 2, Sean Tyler defeated Royce Gracie III. Pre-show number 3, Daniel Wolf defeated LJ Lawrence with distraction from the Soul Taker. In the main show, we had match number 1, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Court Champion Tanner Nix defeated Hawk Percy Drews. I know the most right woman in Michigan was not happy about that one. But, match number 2 was Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions, the Grey Wolves, going against the Bitcoin Boys. And they ended up retaining their titles. Match 3 was Chuck Stein defeating Old School Rick Cartier in a downriver street fight.
Uh-oh.
Match 4 was the Human Amplifier here, Mr. Rivera, defeating Atlas Hightower. It says here with help from fellow Threat member Zach May, but I don't remember seeing that either.
Me neither. I don't know.
Match 5 was Mysterious Mavato defeating Arthur MacArthur by DQ when Chuck Stone interfered. Ridiculoso makes the save and sets up for match number 5, where the Party Monsters of Mavato and Ridiculoso battled Bulking Season to a double countout. Match number 6, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion Tj Meyer defeated Mitch Hewitt and Kenny Urban in a triple threat when TJ pinned Kenny Urban. After the match, Mitch attacked TJ, setting up the street fight for Fan Appreciation Night number 3. And in the main event, the Dread King Logan, once again, and always, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Champion defeated Zach Thomas by pin with a wicked belly-to-belly suplex. And the next show was at the Play Atlantis on October 9th, which would have been another Fan Appreciation Night.
We got Oktoberfest, October 2nd. Like Fan Appreciation Night, part 1, part 2. Then we went a week, October 2nd, back to Knights of Columbus for our last outdoor show there. And then October 9th was End of Days. But Fan Appreciation Night Part 2, that was the debut of our beautiful new Pro Wrestling All-Star canvas that night.
Yes.
That was really nice.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money to get that for, make the show look better. We saw, I'm just thinking, that was the night Zach Main came to my rescue. Yeah, I had to make a phone call. Hightower, I'm sorry, bud. I'm not. If you don't know FIO, I had to call our old buddy Zach Main, come save my ass. That was Logan and a rematch from the week before, Logan and Zach Thomas. And then that was a good show. I liked that night. That was a show.
That ring was sharp. That ring mat is sharp, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we go into Oktoberfest, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next show was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Oktoberfest on Friday, October 2nd from the Knights of Columbus. And in the comments, we've been asking, going back and forth, this is the show that debuted You're Adopted.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. All right. So this is at the Knights of Columbus. Match 1, Old School Rick Cartier defeats Darien Ultra. Match 2, Bitcoin Boys verse the Balking Season. It went into a double countout. The third match, Jeffrey Johns defeats Trevor Maddox. And the fourth match, The Purge of Kevin Calloway and Sean Tyler defeat the Party Monsters, Movado and El Ridiculoso. Soul Taker defeats Dante Cass in the fifth match. In the sixth match, El Toro and Timo Cruz defeat Alex Van Zant and Drizeko. Number 7, Daniel Wolf defeats LJ with outside ring distraction by the Soul Taker. You see a common element here. And then the 8th match of the night, Atlas Hightower defeats Steven Rivera. And the match, in the 9th match, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps champion Tanner Nix defeats Sean Lawhorn. In the 10th match, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions Grey Wolves of Jimmy and Jarvis Gray with the Guru defeat Daddy's Money of Mikey Mana and Clucky with Jeremiah Goldmain, which was a song before or after? Before. You're Adopted debuted. We still haven't heard it on a record release yet, and we need to hear it soon. And then in the main event, Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion Tj Meyer defeats Adam Effin Wick to retain the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Good match, by the way. Really good match.
That was a barn burner. Tanner, Adam Wick definitely had a main event style match, and that was our last. Hightower, he revenged his loss the week before. Zach Main wasn't there to save me this time. And then it was cold that night. It was cold. It was dark. It was kind of cold, but it was still in its 50s. But we still had a good show, and I liked that. And it was It was the night before we did. The next day we did Bubba Lush's show. I know we're not talking about MPW right now, but he had Gangrel the next day, and that was one of my favorite matches of the summer. Seeing the Gangrel and Kevin Calloway against Jason Page and the Black Diamond, Jack Price. That was one of my favorite matches of the summer. Nice. But the Knights of Columbus, that was a cool weekend. We just, on to the next one. End of days.
We're back at the Play Atlantis outdoors. Friday, October 9th, 2020. Josh.
That was our 75th show at the Play Atlantis in the history. Our first show was December 6, 2013, and our 75th show was October 9th, 2020. So, 7 years. We did 75 shows. That was the night Logan and I'll let you run down the results before I comment.
We had match number 1, Gio Bronco defeats Alex Van Zant. Match number 2, we had Sean Tyler defeating Darien Ultra. And 3, we had over the top Mikey Barker and Isaiah Frazier defeat Daddy's Money of Mikey Mana and Clucky with Jeremiah Goldmain. Those guys just cannot catch a break. Soul Taker defeats LJ Lawrence by disqualification. The Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Championship Triple Tornado match. Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions Grey Wolves and Chuck Stein versus Chuck Stein and Sean Lawhorn versus Peter B. Beautiful and Rick Cartier. Sean Lawhorn pinned Jimmy Gray to eliminate the Grey Wolves, and a double pin of Peter B. Beautiful pinning Sean Lawhorn and Chuck Stein pinning Rick Cartier leads to the decision of the winners and the new Pro Wrestling All-Stars champion tag teams as Chuck Stein and Peter B. Beautiful.
The best friends.
I made that decision. That's controversial.
Version of You Got a Friend in Me.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We got Atlas Hightower defeats the threat of Steven Rivera and Zach Main in a 2-on-1 handicap match when Hightower pinned Rivera after a duct taping Zach Main's legs around the ring post. Match for the record. Mysterious Movado defeated Tanner Nix, Percy Drews, and Capital Vices in a fatal 4-way to become the new Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps champion. The Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion Tj Meyer defeated Mitch Hewitt in a street fight to retain his championship. That match made a brand new wrestling fan of my girlfriend's nephew, for the record. That
kid was so excited, man.
And in the main event, you had the Dread King Logan faces Tommy Vendetta in a leather straps of doom, which one of those leather straps was lit on fire. And at one point, I believe it was Tommy was dual wielding leather straps. And Dread King Logan defeats Tommy to retain his championship.
And always.
That was a memorable night. We didn't know what everything happening with COVID and the businesses closing and our longtime partnership, Pro Wrestling All-Stars and Play Atlantis. I wanted to make sure that we put on a barn burner show because we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next summer. And we're going to try to go back to Play Atlantis like right after Memorial Day, end of May, and try to continue another outdoor season. But that was our 75th show of the year at Play Atlantis. The veterans walked out. I made a controversial call because they couldn't. I know Peter B and Chuck Stein have this long rivalry death match everywhere, fighting and bleeding, and they come to Pro Wrestling All Stars. They both beat each other's partner. And I figured, well, why not? You won and you won. Figure it out. You're the new tag team champion. So that was a very controversial and shocking moment. You had
Peter B seemed very happy about it, though. He was real happy. I don't know about Chuck Stein, but Peter B was happy.
If you give Peter B $5 and a box of candies, he's happy. So, but yeah, that was also Movado, that fatal four-way match. We had one of the Capital Vices, Money. You had Percy, Tanner, and Movado. Tanner and Movado kind of had this rivalry going all summer, and it ended. Movado, another Play Atlantis, Pro Wrestling All-Star Play Atlantis original, and he won the Cruiser Core title that night, making him a Triple Crown champion.
Oh, nice.
The only guys to ever have the tag titles, the Cruiser Core and the heavyweight, are Atlas Hightower, Nate Matson, and now Mysterious Movado.
Wow.
That's good company right there. Good company.
All right.
And then that leather straps of doom, Tommy Vendetta. I don't know, man. That kid, he is a lovable psychopath. I'll tell you.
Yes, he is. You don't really like Josh said. To sit there and watch his girlfriend's nephew become a fan. He came with us for something to do, and we got the privilege of watching him become a fan. And, man, it took me back because I think all of us can remember that day when we became a fan of wrestling.
Nice.
And, man, it was a privilege to watch someone new become a fan.
He was kind of playing on his phone and not really paying too much attention until that match. He loved it. He grabbed a piece of the door and got an autograph because, they went in front of the door right in front of us. He got a piece of the door and got it to autograph it, and he took it home. And the next day, I'm hearing he's at his grandma's house going, Nana, this is what happened with this door. And you made a fan, dude. You made a big fan.
It's stories like that thrive me to keep promoting and keep putting on the best events possible. So,
Absolutely.
I like that. Let's
we got the Sunday afternoon main event that went down on Sunday, October 18th, 2020 from Drink Saloon in Brownstown.
Oh yeah. That was
right.
That was actually a back-to-back show. We did a Horror Slam 3-year anniversary the night before. And I'll tell you what, that night before that Horror Slam 3-year anniversary, they had a show on there. One of the matches on there, I was surprised not to see it on your Match of the Year review, MM3 and Trey Miguel. That was one of the best matches I've seen. That was another great match I've seen this summer.
When I heard about that,
that's why we're going to redo the way we do things next time.
All right, if you help, just call me. I'll help you out.
All right.
I'll help you guys out.
Match number 1 was Backwoods Bam defeating the Kenny Urban. Number 2 was Daniel Wolf defeating Soul Taker by DQ. 3 was the Grey Wolves versus Gio Bronco and Rick Cartier. And the Grey Wolves came out on top. It was a good year for the Grey Wolves.
Yeah.
Wonderful year for them. Number 4 was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Core champion, the mysterious Movado, defeating Tanner Nix to retain the title. Match number 5, Mitch Hewitt and the Guru defeat Daddy's Money, a Mikey Man, and Clucky by submission. And when Mitch Hewitt, am I reading this right, Mr. Rivera?
Yes,
Mitch
you
Hewitt
are.
spanked Mikey Manna, put him over his knee, and paddled his behind until Jeremiah Goldman had to throw in a towel.
Yes.
Nice.
Mhm.
You know what? Hey, we've saw these guys a couple of times in come on, let's be honest. It's about time somebody paddled Daddy's Money. I mean,
Yeah.
that should
Oh,
have
yeah.
been done a long time ago.
Those guys are a couple characters, man. Jeremiah Goldman and Daddy's Money. Hopefully they could cash in a victory sometime in the year 2021. But very entertaining trio, them three.
Yes, definitely. Match number 6 was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions, the Dirty Boy Chuck Stein and Peter B. Beautiful, defeating True Bill and Tyler Adams.
Mhm.
These were 2 students from
Yes, that was their first match. The two guys fresh out of House of Truth, and they showed up, and somehow they got a tag team title match that night, that afternoon. And that was it was a good show. Keep going.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's good to see see what they're made of right out of the jump. Right from jump street. Let's see what they're made of.
I remember that show. I was running late behind it because I had other things, obligations, and I had to pick people up. And I showed up, and kind of like Peter B helped me out, and kind of like, hey, this is what I had an idea. Oh, don't worry about it. I got the show. I figured it out because everyone was already talking amongst themselves. So they kind of like everyone kind of like had their matches, kind of like, we do this. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It was the way we put that show on. No intermission, and I remember as soon as I was pulling out the parking lot, it started to rain. I was like, "Wow, we did it." That was a good show. That was actually the last outdoor Pro Wrestling All-Star show of the year.
Yeah, but don't forget to leave out that Tj Meyer defended his title.
Oh yeah, Alex Weir.
Defeated Alex Weir, yes.
So
Alex Weir, TJ, that was a great match. TJ had wrestled both the Death Threat Army guys, Adam Wick a few weeks before, and then Alex Weir that night. Man, Death Threat Army, they're another great faction. The Threat was a great faction. We started up in 2002, and I seen the Death Threat Army as like another second coming of another great faction. I think that. I think that if like all of them are all their unique personalities, the Death Threat Army, Isaiah Bronner, big heavyweight, the Reverend of the Revolution, he just joined in. I think he's good spiritual leader. Mm-hmm. And Aaron O'Ryan, we don't know what he's going to do. All the trials and tribulations he's dealt with his son throughout this year. And I hope he stays in it, and I hope he has some big matches. I want to see Aaron O'Ryan kind of like do something more. I don't know with his family obligation where he's going to be at in the next year. Tommy Vendetta, he's off the fucking charts. I don't know, man. That kid, he's something, but he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one day he'll probably be the leader of the Death Threat Army, depending on where Aaron stands. And then if you can get those any 2 of the 3 of those guys, Adam Wick, Alex Weir, and the Black Diamond, if you can just get 2 of those 3 and you say you 2 just focus on tag team wrestling, I think they could be the greatest tag team since Lotus.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Lotus is the best thing to happen in recent years. And they're not together, they both kind of, I don't know, but they're not around right now. But I feel like nobody's been equally as good or equally as good as Lotus. And I think if the 2 of those 3 of the Death Threat Army, they say, hey, we're going to focus on tag team wrestling, they could be the next second coming, next great tag team in Michigan.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. So.
Our next show is Pro Wrestling All-Stars Halloween Hijinks from the Knights of Columbus. It's the first indoor event per COVID. That was Sunday afternoon on October 25th, 2020.
Yep. Yes. In the first match, we have Alex Van Zant defeating Backwoods Bam. In the second match, we have Daniel Wolf defeating the Mummy. In the third match, we have Sean Longhorn defeating Jarvis Gray and Corey Kerr in a triple threat match when Sean Longhorn pinned Jarvis Gray. In the fourth match, we have, all right, I'm going to say this wrong, Mulek.
Mola.
Mulek.
Oh, the demon.
Mulek.
The demon known as Mulek.
Mulek.
The demon known as Mulek.
All right. Mulek defeats Trill Bill, Tyler Adams in question mark in a 3-1 handicap. I don't know who question mark is.
They were all rookies. They were all rookies at fresh out of House of Truth School.
All right. In the fifth match, Mitch Hewitt and the Guru defeat Daddy's Money of Mikey Manna and Clucky in a trick or street fight. Then in the sixth match, we have the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps champion Mysterious Movado defeating Old School Rick Cartier to retain the championship. Percy Drews defeats Tanner Nix. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right. So then Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion Tj Meyer defeats Jimmy Gray to retain the championship. Then in the ninth match, the Soul Taker takes on LJ, and it went to a no contest. And in the main event, we have a 5v5 Survivor Series elimination match. The team of Hightower, Atlas Hightower, Chuck Stein, Capital Vices of Money and Sin, and El Toro versus Team Rivera of Steven Rivera, Peter B. Beautiful, Over the Top of Mikey Baker and Isaiah Frazier, and Alex Van Sant. We have the order of elimination. Out first, let's see. Rivera eliminates Jason. Rivera eliminated Money. Hightower double eliminated Mikey Barra and Isaiah Frazier. El Toro eliminates Alex Van Sant. Peter B. Beautiful eliminated El Toro. Chuck Stein eliminated by DQ. Hightower eliminated Peter B. Beautiful. Hightower eliminated Steven Rivera. And the winner and sole survivor, Atlas Hightower.
Atlas Hightower. Pin me. That was our first indoor show. It wasn't meant to be an indoor show.
Mm-hmm.
And, the night before we did the ring for TKW outdoors. And then this one was in Southwest Detroit indoors. Movado and Rick Cartier had a good, good match. What else? Yeah, the Survivor Series match. Jason Allen, he ribbed me in that match, man. He gave me a titty twister, spanked me, gave me a schoolboy. I was laughing, not to laugh at that match, but they ribbed me. Get Rivera. That's my buddy. And then, but without a doubt, Hightower defeated me. We had this big feud going. That was kind of like the end of it. And he, without a doubt, defeated me and became the number one contender. This is what set him up as the number one contender heading into our 14-year anniversary show.
Right, the number one contender. I like it. So
next up, we had the Metro Pro Wrestling All-Stars joint show on Saturday, November 7th, Wrestling for Wyatt.
I was the ring announcer for that show.
Yes, and this happened at the arcade.
Okay, yeah.
So what a great show for a great cause, really. I mean,
that's every year I do the ring for Bubba, and now we're going on. It's been 5 years this month that way I've been doing the ring since January 16 to like now 2021 for Bubba, and we have an agreement. Like every November we do a charity show. We did a few years ago. We did it for Heroes Hall. Then a couple years ago, we did one when Gavin Quinn had the problem, the brain and bleeding in the brain. He had to do one. We did one for him. We chose it. That was the year we decided, hey, if we're going to do benefit shows, let's just do it for the boys. Let's pick out one of our boys going through hard times, and kind of like help them, keep it in the family. And that's then like we knew, like when we heard this news about Wyatt, like in June, Bubba was like, hey, in November, we're going to do this for Wyatt. I was like, I know, but we got 6 months away. So we kind of like in the back of our minds, hey, in November, we're going to do this show for Aaron, because Aaron's like a soldier. He's like, he's there. I respect that man. And we wanted to do something to help him. And then that's just trying, like your kids. brain cancer, and just, we did a couple of them, Horror Slam during the summer, but those were like unsanctioned donation shows. Cody was with me, went out by Port Huron.
Yeah.
We got to spend a good time hanging out and talking that Friday afternoon in mid-June out there.
Yep.
And then and this show here, we made over $1,100 for him.
Nice.
Going to run down the lineup for wrestling.
We had Willie Watts defeating Ken Cash. We had the Demon and Soul Taker over the Purge of Calloway and Pilgrim, and that's when they first called themselves No Souls Matter. I love that tag team. We had
the Soul Taker should be the Soul Brother of Destruction right there.
I like it. DTA of Vendetta, Wick, and Bronner defeated Lawhorn Hagen and Maniacal. The Dread King Logan defeats Rick Cartier and Jay Maynard in a triple threat match. Electric Eric Ely with Cody Fleming.
Hey!
Over
Matt Breeding and Bubblicious.
Matt Breeding.
Kick that dude right in the side of his head.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I hear the name Matt Breeding, I think of one of the most sought after questions in all of wrestling. They always mention it on Conrad Thompson's podcast. And Matt Breeding knows the answer. And that is, how big is Batista's? Matt Breeding knows.
Percy Drews over Zach Main and Sean Tyler in a triple threat. That's right. Percy Drews won that triple threat.
Oh, yeah.
Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions Beater B Beautiful and Chuck Stein defeated LJ Lawrence and Royce Carney III, better known as RC3. In the main event, DTA, Aaron Orion, and Alex Weir defeat the MPW Tag Team Champions, 2 members of Armageddon, Tj Meyer and Tanner Nix. And everyone was excited. We were cheering and happy. And then it wasn't a title match.
They reversed that.
But that clothesline, though. That clothesline that Aaron Orion threw. Oh, my God. I've never seen one that good in a long, long time, man.
He got hit so hard, part of him stayed still. It just
He did.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good night.
Brings us to our 14-year anniversary
Yeah.
show, right where we left off.
All right, so Pro Wrestling All-Stars 14th year anniversary took place on November 13th at the Victory Gym in Brownstown.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, hit it.
all right. Josh and I were able to make this one, and this is when you were still recovering, I do believe, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was good to be warm again.
Yes, I like that. I like that place. It's I got a nice.
Yeah, you know what? They did pretty good by all of us. All right, match number 1 was a Pro Wrestling All-Stars Junior Heavyweight Championship with Tj Meyer defeating Percy Drews to retain that title. You know what? And Percy was this year. Percy definitely wanted to make sure that us people here in Michigan, we knew who Percy Drews was.
Oh yeah.
Match 2, old school Rick Cartier defeated Daniel Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Match 3 was Kenny Urban defeated Darian Ultra. Number 4 was the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Corps champion, Mysterious Movado, defeating Tanner Nix again. Match number 5 was Chin Strap Jesus Whip Jeremiah Goldman defeating Zach Thomas.
Wow.
And number 6, we saw Tommy Vendetta defeat Karam in a number 1 contenders match. That match was awesome. I mean, we hadn't been able to see Karam in a long time. Thank you for bringing him back.
Yeah, he's in fantastic shape. He laid out Tommy Vendetta after that match, though.
Yeah, he did.
On his shoulder. He let it be known he wants to make some noise here.
So that's it. You know what? He turned around and he told everybody from Detroit, "I hate all of you."
Yes, he did.
And match number 7, the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Tag Team Champions, the Dirty White Boy Chuck Stein and Peter B. Beautiful defeated the Soul Taker and the Demon Moloch. When Peter B. Beautiful pinned Moloch. Match number 8, Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Armageddon, the MPW Tag Team Champions of Armageddon. Tj Meyer and Tanner Nix defeated the Death Threat Army, Alex Weir and Adam Effin Wick. You know what? You get a win against those two kids, and you've done something there.
Mm-hmm.
Match number 9. It was a main event.
Main event.
Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Championship match with special guest referee. This guy right here. That's right.
Right here. Yeah. I had to call it down the middle. Figured nobody else. It's my
Right
promotion company. It was a monumental
That's it.
14-year anniversary show. And
Well,
who
yeah, you
better
had to make sure that nothing got messed up, you know? Hey,
Logan's on a tear, and Hightower, he proved himself to be the number 1 contender, even though, you know, we had a little beef throughout the year, but I made sure, you know, I still called it down the middle.
Mhm.
And go ahead.
the almighty Dread King.
And that
It's the Guru. Goes 20 minutes to a time limit draw.
Mm-hmm.
And after that match, Logan laid out Atlas with a pile driver. Actually, I think he hit him with a couple, didn't he?
Yes, he pile driver him on the belt. He flattened
Yes,
the belt.
on the belt.
Good job,
Good
Logan.
thing.
Good job.
Good job.
I tried to remain impartial and call it down the middle. But I mean, me and Hightower, we were friends. And before, he was a member of the Threat. And, you know, I called it down the middle. You know, even Steven, that's who I am. And, you know, I had to sit there at the end and watch him. Like, ain't nothing I can do for you. Sorry, bud. Logan, get him. I was in bias. You know, I was, you know, it's called it down the middle. And that's where we left off. That was
That was the end of the year.
That was the end of the year. And it was a great year. It was indeed, man. It was,
you had a lot of shows for it being shut down quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when you think about it, it was pretty much there at the end of the year. It was like towards the end when everything got, not the end of the year, but the end of when everything shut down.
The summer, right?
Yeah.
It picked up really heavy, like every week after that Labor Day, because I knew a second wave was coming. We're going to get shut down, all the talent. I was like, hey guys, we're going to be sitting at home in the winter with nothing to do. They're going to, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of knew that, and all the talent around me kept talking about it all summer. I was like, I'm not going to let them slow me down. Shit, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Got the tools, I got the talent. It's just, you know, had to put it all together. You know, I'm like this. I'm the sole person that runs pro wrestling. I don't have partners or nothing. I got people on my staff. I'll ask, hey, what do you think? And this, or I value their opinion, but realistically, I'm the person. You know, I run it sole. Nobody, you know, boom. I'm the commissioner, the owner, everything.
Well, that's kind of
that we put on a great show for everybody.
That's a good way to do things, and you ain't got to listen to nobody else.
Yeah, you've got to be one chief Indian of every tribe.
Right there, yeah, I like that one.
So you get too many people trying to stick their heads in, and then the show. I look at the show top to bottom. What are we doing? Every match, what's different? Let's put on a compelling, an entertaining show for our great fans, you know. And that COVID was a reality check for me, man. I was like, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to train. I'm going to wrestle, you know. And then, I mean, look at everybody else, what they do since COVID, you know. Clash Wrestling, Jeremy Jones, what's he doing? You know, he's macking on girls out of his league. What Mike Blackwell doing? He's getting drunk in his garage, writing storylines when he's gonna start up, man. What Brian Shotwell, how you doing? Setting up the ring, forget the ropes, skip town. You know, everybody, I'm just like, boom, boom. Malcolm was the only one to try because it's in his bloodline. And he put on those shows out in Pontiac, which is good. But everybody else just kind of like got scared. Scared. You know, if you don't know FIO, man, make it work, man. There's our supporting cast that kind of like, you know, kind of put it all together. And that's, you know, Lil Rach and Briar Wellington. They you know, that undisclosed summer tour. And then at the end, the venues opened up. They did a couple shows at drink saloons, which both shows were real good, you know. Yeah, you know,
for sure.
And, you know, that 3-year anniversary show was real good too. That I like, you know. And all in all, it was a crazy year, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
What are you looking to do here for 2021? Are we looking to get back at play? Or are you looking to go back to play Atlantis? Where are you looking at doing like a tour? What are you looking at doing?
I'm waiting. I know that it's kind of like iffy right now because the indoors, we don't know what's going to happen indoors. If Big Gretch is going to open us up or shut us down. We do actually have late breaking news, and we're going to drop a flyer here in a few seconds. But we don't know. I'm waiting until like after the summer to really go gun ho, and I want to do another gun ho summer. And I got a few venues on my Rolodex. Try to keep something going every week.
Right.
I do ring rental. I did for Metro Pro. They pushed their show to March 6th. They got Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yes, they do.
It was supposed to be next week, but they had to push it back because the guidelines. And then Horror Slam, they're looking to do something here soon, probably mid-February. And us, Pro Wrestling All-Stars, you ready? Late breaking news. Friday night, February 5th. Pro Wrestling, we have a tentative show set up for Victory Gym. It's entitled Wrestle Bowl.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there
Wrestle
you go.
Bowl. We're going to do another Wrestle Bowl event Friday night, February 5th. It's all basically, if the guidelines are up on the 1st, we're ready on the 5th. If not, then we'll postpone it. And, but right now we're set. We're going to do Friday night, February 5th. I got off the phone with the venue a couple days ago. They're like, all right, cool. I'm like, hey, everything's ready. That flyer will be on Facebook here in about 10 minutes. So
It's right here on the front, right covering us up right now. They can see it.
Now, Wrestle Bowl,
Yeah.
12-man gauntlet, luck of the draw gauntlet match with the winner receiving a main event title shot against the Pro Wrestling All-Stars heavyweight champion, the almighty Dread King Logan, with his manager, the Guru.
Nice.
Also, you're going to see the Kickstarter Atlas Hightower, Tommy Vendetta, junior heavyweight champion, Tj Myers, and the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Cruiser Court champion, Movado. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for kids. 50% of the proceeds is going to Victory Gym. And we're hoping to have a big night back in wrestling. I'm crossing my fingers. Big Gratch, don't mess this up. But, I'm looking forward to a big year, 2021. I hope all the guys out there listening, hey, this second wave, the gyms are open. The gyms are open. Unlike the first wave, you're losing your mind. At least these guys can get up early at 4 o'clock in the morning, go train at your Planet Fitness, your Crunch Fitness, your Powerhouse Gym, get jacked up, tanned up, buy some wrist tapes, and then with your $600 stimulus check, and let's just be ready to come out the gates, man. I'm ready. Friday, February 5th. I'm focused. I'm ready. I mean, I'm wanting, more details will be coming soon here in the next couple weeks here on Rasslin Rage and the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Facebook page. More information will be dropping soon, and I'm looking for a big 2021, big 20 for everybody all across the board.
Absolutely. Definitely. I do want to point out to everybody that is watching, or maybe you're catching this on the replay, or just maybe you're listening to this on Podbean later on. Down in the description, both on Podbean and YouTube, there are links to Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit's Facebook and Instagram, where you can always stay up to date on their flyers. They're really good at posting their flyers and information. They also post event pages for most events when them go down. So what I like about the event pages on Facebook is I can open that up on my phone, and then if they have the address in it, I can click the address and it opens it right up in my Google Maps for when I'm driving, because I come from an hour or so away. So I absolutely love it. Yeah.
I thank you guys.
I definitely love it.
Here's one of the other things that I love that you do, Steve, is every show you got 4, 5, 6 of the flyers that you guys raffle off.
Oh yeah,
for
autograph
fans.
event posters. Yes.
I'm gonna have to start spending money on them, because thanks to Leonard Brand, old Len, he got me buying event posters. Well, now I gotta have more. I put them up. I put them up in my office.
I got a whole box of them. I'm bringing to the show, and I'll let you guys rummage through them if you guys are missing any.
Oh,
If there's any
nice.
you need, I got them. I'll take care of you.
I like it.
Awesome. But yeah, I got, and you guys did the calendar this year.
Oh yeah. That was it.
That was awesome. Just the little things that you guys do for the fans. To say, hey, you know what, we appreciate the fact that you spend your money here, you come to see us. To me that makes difference. That's a huge difference.
For sure.
Mhm.
We
we try to do something different. And I always try to be innovative, try to do something different outside the box.
Yeah.
Always we got a good fan base and great supporters and great, I got a great pool of talent, supporting cast, and everything just kind of comes together. You just kind of everything just kind of falls in place. It seems like every show. I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that this winter months, I'm hoping we get to open back up and we get some shows going again, and I can see all these friendly faces at the event, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
The Dread King says in the chat here, he said, let's be honest, Steve pushed the limits and made wrestling stay alive. And he says, applause to you, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you. But I can't take the credit. I mean, it's the supporting cast, man. If it's like guys, I show up at a show with the ring and my truck with the trailer and the show, and there's 10 guys already there ready to help me set up. I mean, it's those guys that really, it wouldn't be no me, it wouldn't be no Pro Wrestling All-Stars without the supporting cast. And that's what really makes it. You guys too, plugging us in the podcast and making sure the fans know what's going on. And that's, I want to keep continuing doing what we're doing. And I'm hoping for a big year in 2021,
Absolutely.
2021.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to 2021 and getting back to independent wrestling, not only Pro Wrestling All-Stars, but all of independent wrestling. Again, I want to remind everybody that you can go down in the description and find Pro Wrestling All-Stars social media. You can also find Rasslin Rage, Michigan Independent Weekly, because we are going to be there's this new thing coming out called Indie Idol. You're going to want to check that out. That's going to be...
Has nothing to do with that promo contest Rampage did last year.
No, nothing.
Nothing. So you try to hit on the girls. I already know. I already know.
Nothing to do with that. And then we also have our award winners will be announced very soon, but we're going to get the awards made up. And when we do, that's when we're going to have the award show. And then I want to announce tonight, Wednesday, tune in on the channel on Wednesday, because I will be sitting down with one Rick Cartier via Zoom to talk about Pro Wrestling All-Stars and his wrestling career and everything in between. So definitely want to tune in for that. Mr. Steve Rivera, I do want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight and going through this. You are one of the only promoters so far that I have encountered that has a written, documented history of your titles. I don't know.
I do. I got all these notes here too to prove what I'm doing here. There's my TV watching you guys.
I really enjoy the being able to know where the titles are and who's held what for how long and so forth.
I like to update them and do the post-COVID, reset the systems and kind of update them.
I'll shoot them over to you after the show.
Oh yeah, I know them. I got them. Trust me. In closing, I think that 2020 was a trying year for everybody.
Right.
Some people got scared. Some people, you don't know where anybody is at. You don't know what's going, it changed a lot of us, changed the way we live.
Yes,
absolutely.
I wasn't going to let this virus stop my ambition to put on professional wrestling, which I got to say, professional wrestling is the greatest sport in the world. And the talent on the independent wrestling scene is like no other.
Absolutely.
And here in Michigan, we're blazing trails. We're setting new standards, new heights. And I expect big things in the year 2021 in the Michigan indie wrestling scene.
Absolutely.
Not just Pro Wrestling All-Stars. I see Metro Pro, XICW. The other guys decide they're not scared. They're going to run, even RPW down there in Toledo. Well, they can't, Toledo, Michigan, Erie, Michigan. they're going to do some good things with the deathmatch scene down there too. And I expect a big year coming this summer, especially this summer when it's outdoors and it's like, okay, no rules, we can do anything.
Right.
Right.
No restrictions. I feel like we're going to go gun ho. We're going to have a hell of a year, hell of a summer this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for an early spring and an early summer, man, because I'm dying. I gotta see some wrestling, man.
Right.
Oh, trust me. It crossed my mind to go get one of these vacant factories over off 7 Mile and Van Dyke and run some shows, but really, like, my better half's like, no, you don't want to do that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We do have the standard, but
right.
No.
All right.
Be on the Channel 4 News.
Yeah, you will. Definitely will be. All right, so thank you to everybody that has watched us. Please make sure that you slam the thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We will catch you on Tuesday at 6:30 for MIW, Michigan Independent Weekly. Who knows what we're going to do, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Josh, Dan, Mr. Steve Rivera, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great night, and we look forward to seeing Pro Wrestling All-Stars back very, very soon, as we know right now. Friday,
February 5th, Brownstown, Michigan. It's going down, baby. Oh, yeah.
With that, everybody, we'll see you later.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We're doing now. This is Rasslin Rage.